Hello, Mattu Jamir, and you're watching Hornbill TV's Prime at 9. Now, news in details. The CBI has filed a supplementary charge sheet in the Rs 3,600 crore Augusta Westland scam against former Defence Secretary Sashikant Sharma and 4 Indian Air Force personnel, officials said on Wednesday. The CBI filed the charge sheet in a special court in Delhi after getting the nod from the government to prosecute Sharma, who was the Defence Secretary between 2011 and 2013 before being appointed the Comptroller and Auditor General. The Central Probe Agency also named then Air Vice Marshal Jaspir Singh Panesar, now retired, Deputy Chief Test Pilot S.A. Kunde, the then Wing Commander Thomas Matthew and Group Captain N. Santosh, they said. Kunde and Santosh retired as Air Commodore. The case pertains the alleged bribery to swing a deal to produce 12 VVIP helicopters in favor of Augusta Westland, which was ineligible as its helicopters did not meet the 6,000-meter operational ceiling parameter set by the Indian Air Force. The need for new helicopters to the ferry VVIPs, the President, the Prime Minister, the Vice President and the Defence Minister was felt in 1999 when a proposal was moved to find an alternative to the IAF's Soviet-era Mi-8s. The White House press secretary on March 16, while commenting on reports about possibility that India could take up the Russian offer of discounted crude oil, said that any support extended towards Russian leadership is support for invasion and asked India to think about where the world's largest democracy wants to stand in the history. Think about where India wants to stand when history books are written in this moment in time, said Jen Psaki. Support for Russia leadership is support for invasion having devastating impact, said Psaki.
Report yesterday about the possibility that India could take up the Russian offer of discounted crude oil. What would be your message to India or any other country tempted by such an offer?
Well, our message to any country continues to be that obviously abide by the sanctions, but that we have put in place and recommended. I don't believe this would be violating that, but also think about where you want to stand when the history books are written in this moment in time. And support for the Russian leadership is support for an invasion that obviously is having a devastating.
Many state Muslim organizations have called for Karnataka band on March 17 over the High Court's hijab decision. Amir E. Shariat is the head of all Muslim organizations in the state, which has called for band, holding that hijab was not part of the essential religious practice in Islamic faith. The Karnataka High Court on Tuesday upheld the state government's ban on wearing the headscarf in educational institutions that has triggered protests by Muslim girl students and also a tense hijab versus saffron scarf row. The Supreme Court on Wednesday, however, agreed to list for hearing after Holy Vacation the pleas challenging the Karnataka High Court verdict, which dismissed the petition seeking permission to wear hijab inside the classroom, saying it is not part of the essential religious practice in Islamic faith. While PJP and RSS have hailed the Supreme Court ruling, AIMIM Chief Azauddin Owaisi has expressed his displeasure over the judgment. Bharatiya Janata Party's Central Observer will visit the 4 states that the party won in the recently concluded assembly elections after the Holy Weekend, said sources on Wednesday. The PJP registered victory in assembly elections in 4 states. The party set new records by winning Uttar Pradesh for the 2nd consecutive term. Further, it also managed to hold power in Uttarakhand, Goa and Manipur. Parliamentary board of the PJP had appointed central observers and co-observers for the election of the leader of the legislative party in Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Manipur and Goa Assembly. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has been appointed as the central observer for Uttar Pradesh. BJP National Vice President Raghuravar Das has been appointed as the co-observer for Uttar Pradesh. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Union Minister of State for External Affairs Meenakshi Lekhi has been appointed as the central observer and co-observer for Uttarakhand respectively. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has been appointed Central Observer for Manipur, while Kiren Rijiju as Co-Observer. For Goa, Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar and Union Minister of State for Fisheries and Animal Husbandry L. Murugao have been made the Central Observer and Co-Observer respectively. A delegation of Nagaland legislators, including Chief Minister Nipurio, arrived in Dimapur today from New Delhi after meeting central leaders. Nipurio, along with his cabinet ministers and advisors, are said to have discussed core issues including the Naga peace process this past week. HornbillTV caught up with advisor, IT, Science and Technology and Non-Renewable Energy Munlo Mokikon at the airport. Let's have a look at the report.
So we went to Delhi to meet our central leaders and impress upon them for the next Rajya Sabha election. So matter is under consideration. Once it's clear, they will declare.
Any BJP candidate for the Rajya Sabha?
Yeah, we have already proposed 4 names, out of which the center will take a decision in a few days' time. So once it's decided, we'll announce.
Along with the rest of the country, Nagaland also launched a COVID-19 vaccination drive for 12 to 14 years of age today. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Vizokolo Theo launched the Corbevax vaccine for 12 to 14 years of age at Naga Hospital Authority, Kohima. Speaking at the launching program, Theo said vaccination for 12 to 14 years cohort will be initially carried out in Kohima and Dimapur district and gradually extended to other districts as soon as the vaccines are dispatched to the districts. She informed that all beneficiaries of the said group will be eligible for the vaccination, which will be available at the government-designated COVID vaccination centers. The dosage schedule will be 2 doses having 28 days apart. CM also said that the targeted total population for the age group of 12 to 14 years in the state of Nagaland is around 95,000. CMO further said that to cut the chain of COVID-19, pandemic vaccination is the only answer to prevent from COVID.
As per the evolving pandemic and the emergent evidence of COVID-19, the expert group has decided to give for the age group of 12 to 14 years group, 12 to 13, 13 to 14, and for the state of Nagaland, 4.3% of the population, that will be around 94 to 95,000. For Kohima district, the target will be 12,800 to 13,000. So what we see is for our state has a coverage of 73% for the that age group 18 above. Then 15 to 18 age group, the percentage we had a target of 19,517, of which we have achieved 10,250 to 300. Now for the age group of 12 to 14, we have to target population of 12,800 to 13,000. So today we have all gathered here.
Kifire Tuensang District Sumi Students Union, while it appreciates the hard work and sacrifices of the teachers, urged the concerned teacher and school management committee, headmaster and teacher in charge of all government-aided schools under its jurisdiction to eliminate proxy teachers within 1 month period. The KTDSSU warned that failing to comply with the order will invite severe action from the union. The union also reminded the Department of School Education to stop rampant transfer of teachers and urged the district education officer Officer and Sub-Divisional Education Officer not to issue releases, order and other relevant documents without concerned persons reliever being posted under its jurisdiction. The KTDSSU also forewarned all the HODs and staff posted in Kifre Town, Seyochang Town ADC headquarters and Sitimi Town EAC headquarters to be stationed at their own place of posting. It further warned that violating the directive, the union will take its own course of action. Also, the union cautioned all the government registered and non-registered contractors to provide quality work as per the DPR. It warned that if any lapse is found on the government-approved projects within its jurisdiction, it will leave no stone unturned to find out the offender.
The office of the Kifri Tengsang District Semi Students Union is constrained to issue the statement regarding the rampant practice of keeping proxy teachers within the semi-inhabited area of Kifri District. We warn the particular teachers to refrain from keeping proxy teacher within 1 month from the issue of this statement. We also remind the Department of School Education to stop rampant transfer of teachers along with posts and appeal the DO and SDO not to issue his or her relevant document without his or her reliever being posted. In addition, the union also forewarned the HODs and ministerial staff posted in Kifri Town headquarters, Sechung Town ADC headquarters and Sitimi Town ESC headquarters to be stationed at their respective posting place and perform their duty. The union also demands the particular contractor to provide quality work as per DPR on the ongoing government developmental projects. Failing to comply to this statement, the student community shall not have any other option but legally take our own course of action to ensure that the interest of students and general public is not affected at any cost.
The Department of Health and Family Welfare today observed National Vaccination Day at Chief Medical Officer's office in Kohima. On the occasion, healthcare workers were facilitated for their commendable efforts during National Immunization Day 2022. Addressing the gathering, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Vezokoloteo appreciated the health workers for the efforts and contribution they render towards humanity. She encouraged them to continue their hard work and uphold their aims in eradicating the diseases in the community. Health workers and ASHA were also encouraged to work consistently in order to provide maximum health coverage to beneficiaries. The CMO also highlighted the important role played by ASHAs and urged them to reach out to grassroots level. Theo gave away the certificates to the 19 healthcare workers for the best performance during the immunization of polio, NID, vaccination services and community mobilizations efforts in 2022.
So, block medical officers can do polio vaccination in coverage report can do this. Aru, as per the ASHAs in the areas, to report Aishide, it to identify the expected number of children to be vaccinated in the ASHA area, and from the tally sheet row, the total number of 0 to 5 children itu tu siloise as per the household na. So aru itu tu total children vaccinated in the booths and house to house visit. On the second and third day itu campaign itu na house to house itu calculate kurigene amikan 2 ashas from the block and also from the urban itu choose kurishe aru bukan ENM. By the way, GNM, our staff nurse, itu ekta from the blocks and from the urban. Imiga selection kurishe. Itu karena amikanya de jama kurase.
A language translation center sponsored by Jemti Menba Mulir, the chief patron of ASLB, along with other innovative facilities, was inaugurated today by Minister for PWT, Mechanical and Housing, Tongpang Ozakam in Fazal Ali College in Mokokchung. The other components are biotech lab, child care center, library browsing center and resource outlet. Addressing the inaugural program, Muzakam said that these innovative initiations will contribute immensely during the NAAC peer team visit, besides helping in alleviating quality education. The LTC is not only about translating of language, but it would contribute in introducing our honors in the future. Further, he said he urged the cadres to move forward along the rest of the world to make the vision of LTC into reality. Along with the changing world, our ethos, which needs to change, must be changed and retain the ethos important to us, he asserted.
Practical term do anam tundi bang tani kilometer child care center ajoram anam tundi bang ai ga jo student da family kibung kamar tanolier schools ma lier master ma faculty ma staff ma bijam jubir amu ji ba ja anam tundi bang kilometer resource center work uniform committee to over ibaja garam kiji ai kechi asar changadum sa initiative kada ibaja bilma.
Dr. Lanurinla, Director, LTC, introduced the concept of LTC. She said that the LTC objective is for translating other languages into our language, besides to enhance our language development. She further added that through translation, it helps in connecting nations and fostering peace, understanding and development, contribution to development and strengthening of world peace.
Kangadang digitize sadang modern sadang technology agi kangadang medapa arwat per information technology kangadang ainer dasaba putu kanong karibo ashare artificial intelligence translation ji kukatok ze asserming German that's asser sara shisa shiri ashibaji artificial intelligence nisong Mimjer, perdumya, replace us as a master, that's about question, artificial intelligence, what human translators, women, dasher, Kajuba, that's our culture, Subaliba, Ushi, Aser Subaliba, Jimmy Latiter, Tanaji, Palaka, Pila Mutator, Anoji, Ushi, Aser Subaliba, Kalamidang Arur, Anoji, artificial intelligence. Human translators to work with the
The U.S. Senate unanimously approved a resolution late Tuesday seeking investigations of Russian President Vladimir Putin and his regime for war crimes over the invasion of Ukraine. The bipartisan measure for Sen. Lindsey Graham, RSC, says the Senate strongly condemns the violence, war crimes, crimes against humanity being carried out Russian military forces under Putin's direction. It encourages international criminal courts to investigate Putin, his Security Council and military leaders for possible war crimes. These atrocities deserve to be investigated for war crimes, said Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, DNY. The measures were approved swiftly and without dissent as lawmakers in Congress continue to muscle a bipartisan show of force against the Russian war in Ukraine. First introduced almost 2 weeks ago, the Senate resolution would not carry the force of law but is another example of Congress providing the Biden administration political support to take a tough line against Putin's aggression. Last week, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris embraced calls for an international war crimes investigation of Russia over its invasion of Ukraine, citing that atrocities of bombing civilians, including a maternity hospital. The Bombay High Court on Tuesday rejected Maharashtra Cabinet Minister and Nationalist Congress Party leader Nawab Malik's interim application seeking immediate release in a case of money laundering registered against him by the Enforcement Directorate against him. The court denied the relief, saying that just because the Special Prevention of Money Laundering Act's court's order remanding him in custody is not in his favor, it does not make that order illegal or wrong. A bench of Justices P.B. Varali and S.M. Modak also said in its order that Malik had access to legal representation both before the Special Court and the High Court. The bench held that Malik was arrested by the ED and subsequently remanded by custody following due process. Therefore, there was no reason for the HC to pass any interim order directing Malik's release, it said. After he was arrested by the Central last month under provisions of PMLA, the Maharashtra Minority Affairs Minister had filed a habeas corpus plea in the High Court claiming that his arrest and the consequent remands were illegal. After a sweeping victory in Punjab Assembly polls by Aam Aadmi Party, AIP leader Bhagwan Mann today took oath as the Chief Minister of Punjab, with the Punjab Governor Banwarilal Purohit administering the oath. The grand ceremony of the swearing-in has been organized in Khatkar, the ancestral village of legendary freedom fighter Bhagat Singh. Mann, in a video message released earlier, invited the people of the state for his oath-taking ceremony, urging men to wear basanti, yellow turbans, and women yellow dupatta stole for the ceremony. For this year's assembly polls, the AAP registered a landslide victory in Punjab, winning 92 seats, pushing most of its rivals to the margins.
मैं भगवंत मान ईश्वर दी सौं चुकदा हां कि मैं कानून द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची शरधा ते निष्ठा रखांगा कि मैं भारत की प्रभुता ਅਤੇ अखंडता ਨੂੰ बरकरार रखांगा कि मैं पंजाब राज के मुख्यमंत्री वजों अपने कर्तव्यां ਨੂੰ वफादारी ते शुद्ध अंतकरण नाल निभावांगा ਅਤੇ मैं भै ਜਾਂ पक्षपात स्नेह ਜਾਂ दुर्भावना बिना सब तरह के लोगों के प्रति संविधान ਅਤੇ कानून ਨੂੰ अनुसारता विच न्याय करांगा। मैं भगवंत मान ईश्वर की सौं चुकदा हाँ कि जो कोई मामला पंजाब राज के मुख्यमंत्री वजों मेरे विचारधीन लिआंदा जाएगा ਜਾਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ज्ञात होवेगा वो किसी व्यक्ति ਜਾਂ व्यक्तियों ਨੂੰ सिवाए उसके कि अजिहे मुख मंत्री वजों अपने कर्तव्यों के ठीक निभाउण लई जिहा करना लोड़ींदा होवे मैं सीधे ਜਾਂ असिधे तौर पर ना दसांगा ना प्रगट करांगा। इनकलाब जिंदाबाद।
Punjabi singer Gurdas Mann attended Punjab CM designate Bhagwan Mann's swearing-in ceremony in Khatkar Kalan village on March 16. While speaking to NI at the event, Gurdas Mann said that Aam Aadmi Party is built for armed people with extraordinary ideology and principles. AAP winning 92 seats in Punjab Assembly elections is just the beginning and the ideology is special, he said. He said to pray that God would give AAP courage to make prosperous Punjab, he said.
नई सरकार आप पार्टी की सरकार जो बनी है आम आदमी की, और उसमें लगते भी हैं कि सारे आम आदमी हैं, और उनकी जो नीयत है, तबीयत है, जो उनकी सोच है, जो विचार हैं, वो बड़े खास हैं। पार्टी आम है लेकिन विचार खास हैं, और परमात्मा करे उनके लिए दुआ है कि रब उनको शक्ति दे, समर्था दे, तौफीक दे कि पंजाब खुशहाल हो, पंजाब में एक का इत्तेफाक हो, सुख शांति हो, प्यार मोहब्बत हो, जात पात वहम भरम कर्म से दूर निकल के कोई अच्छी बातें हों और एक का एक जो खलूस पैदा हो, एक दूसरे में मोहब्बत पैदा हो, बस यही चाहते हैं हम।
A first of its kind, Tinyezu Wrestling Institute under Khelo India was on Tuesday inaugurated by the Secretary of Youth Resource and Sports, Vizope Kenya, at Multipurpose Hall, Tinyezumi Village, under Pek District. Addressing the program as special guest, Kenya stated that inauguration today is made possible because of Venuzo Taho, who is the champion in the recently held Nagaland Wrestling Championship 2022. Director of Youth Resources and Sports, Akamla Chuba, informed that the Ministry of Sports has taken initiatives to set up 1,000 Khelo India centers in all the districts of the country. She added that 19 KICs has been taken up in the state, paving way for the players from the state to national level, and stated that Venuzo will be the ambassador for the Tinyezu Wrestling Institute.
Liverpool by Standard Chartered. The list goes on. The survival of company sponsorship, but out here in Nagaland, we have hardly any companies, and we want the government who is already in debt to sponsor our dreams. It is a harsh reality, but we have to survive on our own talents and our own gift. Our brother Venezuela, for example, he is surviving because of his to produce more sports person that will bring more credits to our community. Nagas, we should get rid of this mentality that where we can only want the government to sponsor and support us. If we keep on depending on someone for success, instead of working or struggling to be successful, we will never get there.
That's all we have for now. Keep watching Hornbill TV.